Sadly, a road traffic accident there. It looks to be quite a healthy specimen other than the fact it's been hit by a car, but we do have a healthy badger population around here, and sadly this is a result of crossing roads. Right, I'm on the edge of the woodland and I'm heading into the Bushcraft Shelter because I want to take you to see where I've got with it so far and what I'm about to do today. But I've had a very interesting route change on how to get in here, and I'll show you why. Now on the left hand side you'll see the hedge, which is part of the ancient track I get into this woodland, and down there you'll see a mini digger. Now that mini digger is actually doing some work on laying water pipes for cattle feeders. So obviously there's people around and they're milling around the entrance. So I've been playing a game of cat and mouse to sneak in here. But I'm in here, so let's get to the Bushcraft Shelter. And just for reference, this is actually the trackway that I'm using. As you can see, it's not, you can't get motor vehicles down here. Probably a quad bike, but that's about it. So while I'm walking in, I did cut a length of hazel. It will become apparent why I've done that, but don't worry, it was taken from a hazel stand, and it will encourage growth. There were several other shoots there, so no damage. In fact, for this shoot I've taken, next year it'll probably sprout between 4 and 6 others. Right, here we are, and you can clearly see that you've missed out on some bits of the build. I've actually completed that other side of the wall. You can see a load more offcuts there. I've still just to plug that gap in the wind shelter there, but I've made some progress. I'm really happy. I'm really chuffed I've got this far now. It was beginning to drag on. As you can see, this is the gap we got to plug now, and this is the opposite side. Now, why did it take so long? I know that's the burning question. Every single one of those pieces I had to go out there, cut clean and bring back in here. It's taken a long time, but we are where we are now, and we've broke the back of it now. It's just to plug this gap on the apex up, but it's looking fantastic actually, and it's almost ready to go and get the moss and start waterproofing this and getting that first overnighter in. Right then, before I crack on, as regard to that footage of the badger I put on at the beginning, it's just basically to point out that when you're driving the country lanes, take it easy, because badgers, foxes, deers, anything can shoot out of a hedge and then disappear up into the opposite hedge without a moment's warning, and quite often they're there one moment and bang, they're gone, or you've hit them in the case of that badger. Yeah, so just take it slow and steady and be prepared. It's quite easy to forget that there are creatures and animals using the countryside as their home when you're using the lanes, particularly at night, and your lights just focus down on the road, and the tall hedgeways you're driving through obscures your peripheral vision, and they just shoot out of nowhere, or that's how it looks like. But yeah, so just take care, because we don't want to hurt or kill the old man of the woods, Brock. And yeah, badgers do get a little bit of a bad press in the countryside because of TB related issues. I've got a farmer living just up the road from me I talk to quite regularly, and he suffered extensively with TB related issues and the ministry testing his cattle. And you know, obviously if they flash up that they've got it, there's issues. And I'm not fully versed in it, I'm not a farmer, but he does state it's quite an anxious time when they're being tested. And we do have a healthy population in the southwest, even though they have been culled in the past, from what I understand. Which I'm thankful for, because I'm out in the woods and on the footpaths and I run into them quite regularly, and I want to continue seeing them. So I understand that TB is an issue, but the farmer did say to me he believes there's a possibility badgers could be being vaccinated. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But if that is the case, it's got to be a win-win, because the cattle get protected, the badgers don't get harmed or culled, and on top of that the farmer doesn't have such an issue with TB testing or the worry. But in any case, I'm going to crack on here now, so if you want to join me over here, we'll start sorting out this bushcraft shelter. Right, what I'm going to do is clean up all these ends and get it more uniformed, like these here. You can see I've got these to take off. I took a couple off, but yeah, I've got to finish doing that. And obviously tidy up that other side a bit more before I start building the wall, just simply to make it easier on myself. Well then, we've achieved a fair bit. We've got that apex closed in. I've left a small hole, and that is basically to allow airflow. Without airflow, another lesson I've learned is that you tend to get mold and fungus build-up on the inside. If you keep airflow, it does help minimize it. All I've got to do now is plug the holes along that you can see when you look through it, and where the gaps between all the logs. Once I've plugged those with moss, I'll then go from the bottom to the top, sheeting it in effect, or tiling it with slabs of moss. I'll then put one big one along the ridgepole. That will give me my waterproofing. So one more session, like I was saying, and we'll be able to start using it in what I want to do here, which is bushcrafting. I would also like to bring into the mix a little bit about how I go about doing what I do, getting in and out of locations, a little bit of stealth, talking about how I go about preparing myself, and then the final thing, not only being in the location, extracting. And a bushcraft camp like this is the perfect location to kind of dispense a little bit of my knowledge. And I'm not overly knowledgeable. I have a little bit of training in the subject, and on top of that I've picked up a fair bit as a kid, a boy, young man, and on top of it what I'm doing now. But I do know a lot of people are very apprehensive and have a lot of questions relating to those kind of topics, and this is a really nice location to kind of cover some of those topics. Yeah, so I've run out of time. It's time for me to go, and all that's left to be said is thanks for coming along. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.